The old sagas tell a tale of a faraway land called Greenland, and how our brave forefathers sailed west to the shores of Vinland. They established a colony in Vinland, but the harsh conditions and the people that lived there already caught them by surprise. Soon, a conflict followed, and the founders were vastly outnumbered. During these darkest moments, Odin sent forth his Valkyrie and brought our ancestors here to Valhalla. Over these numerous generations, the Valkyrie taught us many things, and soon we shall set forth to sail the vastness of space as our forefathers did. Perhaps we shall once again set foot in Midgard. But we must hurry, for Ragnarok is coming, and our scientists estimate that only 75 years remain before the battle begins.
Hello, my name is Zhatelier, and welcome to Valhalla Vanguard in Aurora 4X. And first of all, huge thanks to Mordred for helping with the intro. You should definitely go check his content. Links are in the description for both his YouTube and Twitch. Now, as you heard from the intro, on year 75 we'll be activating the extragalactic invaders. And then the battle begins, basically. That's the end goal of the series. I mean, we'll try to fight them off, but consider that I'm not very experienced in the combat portion of Aurora 4X. I mean, I've had a little bit of experience, but I haven't had very much success so far. But we'll see how it goes. We'll probably die horribly, but it's fine. And then if you check the Episode 0, which if you haven't, you might want to check it out, but it's not that important, it's just setting up the game. So, but also a little bit of the background. So there is Sol somewhere in the galaxy, and we'll try to go there and recapture it from a non-player republic. But it might be that we will never find it, we'll see. And then, of course, I do have set myself a goal that by year 50 I'll try to have at least some sort of fleet under construction, just so that we can then fight the precursors a little bit, get some battle going on there, and maybe grab some nice technology from them, or die horribly. It's probably both, or at least one or the other. And there's also another thing, that I will not be building any jump gates, I'll be using jump engines. So that's mostly to keep the civilian traffic in control, so to speak. But let's get started with the things that we need to do. So first of all, we got research. We got 5 labs right now, and I think first of all we're gonna need the. I think we're gonna start with the pressure water reactor. We're gonna put 4 for the power. Yeah, we'll put 4 for the power and propulsion guy, and create that. Because that is technology that will unlock better engines. I'm not going to bother with the first engine at all. And then we'll have 1 lab that we'll use to get the duranium armor. So that's our research going on. There's not much to be fair. We do have a shipyard here that will expand by 2,000 tons. So that activity. And now the production. What we're going to do is we've got 500 conventional industries, so we're going to convert quite a bit of that to construction factories. Probably something like 225 on a rate of 35%. Then what we'll do is we'll set up the research labs to be built. Not 225, we'll build, I don't know, 25 of them. On 20% for now. Then what we'll do is we'll make some mines. So 175 or something like that for speed of. That's actually a good question. Let's go for 25% for now. We can modify that later if need be. Then we'll do some fuel refineries. We'll do 50 of them, but only at 5%. because otherwise our mines will not be able to handle that. And then we'll also make some ordnance factories. And fighter factories as well. Then we've still got 5%. I think I'll add more to the mines actually. So 30% there. And then 35 at the construction factory, so that we can get a decent bit of materials going on. And that should... Yeah, I think... Yeah, that's all of the conventional industry taken care of. Right, next. I'm actually gonna rename this shipyard for survey. Just so that I remember. I usually do my survey vessels military, just so that they can be rather small. Also, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a spaceport at 20% capacity, and we'll build another military academy. Those are both rather expensive, but it's gonna be useful later on, and then we'll maybe put in mass drivers. 5 of them. We'll have to reshuffle the percentages later on, but we'll start with that right now. And then maybe more construction factories. 75 of those, because we have 225 after the conversions are done. And then we'll probably need to produce some of the ship parts over here, just to save up some time in the shipyards. But anyway, I think that's set up there. Now I do have some of the ship designs that I've pre-planned, and a lot of those have names. I will be naming the majority of those after patrons and Twitch subscribers and so forth. But of course, once I run out of those, if you want to have a class named after you, just let me know in the comments. It might take a while, or it might never happen, depending on what happens in the game, but I will also take names for the actual ships themselves, not just the classes, so if you want to have a ship named after you, just let me know in the comments. I will also reserve the right to deny any unsavory names, but just a class and a name that what you, or if not a class, then like what kind of ship you want to have. I'll see what I can do. I can't promise everything, but then I think we need to set up ourselves staff officer. I'll start with the oldest one here. Assign that there. We'll also might assign, so we don't need to worry about that. Then we'll quickly actually rename the civilian administrator to Lagman. It's more of a Norse name for that. Right, and then we got 5 of these. We'll need to put one of them in charge of the... This is actually not a bad one. Factory production plus 15%, mining plus 5%, population growth 10%, ground unit construction speed 10%, population growth 10%. Okay, I think... Oh! This ain't bad either. Yeah, I think we'll actually assign this one. Factory production 15, mining bonus 25%. So population growth is not as high, but that is not really as important right now. We'll have plenty of population for the time being. I'll assign you there. And now I think we'll... Hold on, there's still a few things. We'll put... Show events there. And we'll get this up. I'll put it to the side there, so I can keep track on what's going on, but it will not be taking any room from here. And I think we'll finally let the time start running. So we'll put on auto turns. Let's actually quickly check. There's probably no imminent events. It's going to take more than a year for most of that. Yeah, so we'll just let time run in 30-day increments. It's going to take a while, but currently, since there's only 2 systems generated, there's not that much to simulate for the game. We have a bit of a thorium shortage. Let's have a look. Yeah, we turned most of our thorium into fuel already, and since we don't have enough mines, it will be a problem for the time being. So we can't actually use those automated turns, I'm afraid. So we'll just disable those and click away. Oh, hold on a minute, we got a new scientist. Construction and production. Oh, that's a useful one. Also, so in October next year we're gonna get the uranium armor, and May next year we're gonna get the water reactor, or pressure water reactor, which will be useful. Well, probably not be used as such, but it does open up some other research, which will be useful in the long run. But right now the early game is rather slow, so to speak. There's not much going on. Right, it was in end of March, wasn't it? No, it's in May, okay. So we're gonna go to May. Then we're gonna go 5-day increments, because the research and builds and such are happening in 5-day increments. Right, so we got the research done. Now we can start researching the nuclear thermal engine. I'm gonna create that, then we're gonna put a queue up for that. So we'll get the fuel consumption down a little bit. And yeah, we'll check the other stuff after we have the nuclear thermal engine. We could get the better armor. Well, actually, there's not much that we can do with that, so we'll just let that. Once the uranium armor has been researched, what we'll probably do is we'll start researching some of the production stuff here. For example, well, the research rate is going to take a while, but maybe the mining production or construction rate might be useful. Of course, both of them will take a while to research, but they will be useful in the long run. Right, the next thing is in October 14, so we'll just go 30-day increments. Again, we still have a bit of a shortage for the fuel production, but that's a smallish. Hold on. Oh, well, in September. Never mind, I can't read. There we go, we got the research done. Now then, I suppose we'll start with the construction rate. It's gonna take a while before it's ready, but also at some point, sooner rather than later, we're gonna have to start researching a lot of the sensors stuff here. We're gonna have to get the geological survey sensors to be able to survey the solar system. Well, technically it's not the solar system, but yeah, the star system that we inhabit. And we're gonna have to search that. So now I'm gonna go to the first day of the month and then keep on jumping. Ah, the shipyard has been modified. Now I think we're gonna do another round of 2,000. Usually I go with about 5,000 tons for my survey ships. It's been fairly working. I mean, so it's rather cheap to still make, and it can be rather fast. But at least there's enough room for a fair bit of the instruments for sensors for surveying and all that. And it can do both geological and gravitational. But we've gotten some of the mines built now. 19 mines plus a lot of conventional mines. Okay, well, we got some production going on at least. And I do think we still have a bit of a shortage in this thorium. At least according to the game. And that's probably true. Right, we got another one. So we still got plenty of things to do here. So what do we get next? It's going to be the nuclear thermal engine on 4th of August. Unless there's any new things that we'll find out. So we'll just keep on going. And that's the... Every 2 years the commanders are being assigned, so that happens and the screen is filled with events. But that's a minor issue, I'd say. But anyway, we probably won't be getting to ship designs this turn, but we'll try to get as quickly forward as possible. So once we get rid of the mineral shortage, we can keep on rolling. So it was August this year. Year 4 that is. So we are going pretty quickly early on, but once we start getting some ships that we need to control, it's gonna take a lot more time. Right, so the shipyard has been modified. So it has the 5-ton capacity, so we can then build our survey ships there. We still have the mineral shortage, which is a bit unfortunate. Oh, new scientist. Energy weapons, 30%. Oh, that's pretty handy. That is pretty handy indeed. And... hold on, someone increased their efficiency. That was the power propulsion. Oh! Well, it's still August, unfortunately, but... at least it's a bit closer, so if we take a 5-day increment now, it starts the other one. I could just start designing the engines here, but on the other hand, I'd like to get at least a 0.9 fuel consumption, maybe even better, before I get too much ahead of myself. Apparently the music has stopped. That should be fixed now. Right, so... and there's of course the sizes of the engine that you can decide. The bigger the engine is, the less it consumes fuel, but at the same time, the bigger it is. So it's going to take more room, and therefore you need a bigger ship just to have that engine there. So it's a bit of a switcheroo in there, what you want out of your engine. And then there's of course the engine power. You can go for smaller engine power. And then there's the technology, of course, the consumption, thermal reduction, we won't be touching quite yet, but later on it will be useful. Right, so next thing that we get is in May, unless there's anything... no, there's not really anything there that needs our attention yet. So, May next year. Well, let's keep on going. We still do have the mineral shortage, and that's a bit unfortunate. But it should start getting fixed soon, I think. Once the mines are getting completed. And the commanders have been assigned. Oh crap, the researcher that we had doing the engine or fuel consumption has died. I suppose we'll use this one with the 4 research labs just to get things going. So we'll get that in July this time. And we can of course use the controls over here as well. Okay, there's another medical problem that affects long-term health. Nothing too important right now. There we go, we got the fuel consumption. What we could do is we could even get this next portion. On the other hand, we might not need to. If we want to get the... well, actually no, we'll do this one real quick. We'll put only 3 research labs for that. We'll set the defensive systems guy researching geological survey sensors. It's gonna take a while, but at least we can also level up the scientists that way. Right, so the next thing is going to be in January of the year 8. So we got a little bit of ways to go, but let's see, we actually do have some thorium now, so we can go on auto turns once again, to save us some time. And the planets keep on turning there. Oh, hold on, we got another scientist. That was defensive systems 20%. Okay. Actually, let me pause for a moment. And let's have a look at the... do they have better bonus than that? They do. So I'm gonna cancel that. I'm gonna give the research for the other one. There we go, so that should do the research a little bit quicker. We need to be somewhat efficient. I mean, I can't really promise that I'm extremely efficient, but I can at least do a few things well. We got the research for the fuel efficiency. Now I think it's time to design the engines. What I usually do is I have standardized size for the engines. I usually have size 1 for the fighters and such, then size 5 for small vessels, size 10 for like destroyers and the survey vessels and so forth, and size 25 for bigger military vessels, and then for the civilians I have size 25 and 50. The 25 is usually not in all that much use, but it can be useful in certain cases. Right, but let's start with but for the nuclear thermal engine, I don't think we need to have the sizes 1 or 5, so we'll just do the size 10 to save some time. We'll go with the fuel efficiency right now, so we'll create that. We'll go for 25 hull size. Well, actually, we don't need the 25 hull size military engine either, so what we'll do is just go for the size 50 commercial engine. For it to be commercial, you need to have at most half of the engine power, but also it lowers the fuel consumption quite dramatically, so we'll just do those 2 engines now, because we'll probably save some time by not doing the rest, and that way we can get the next level of engines a bit quicker at least. Right, so let's go back here. Now that we designed them, we need to of course research them. So we'll do the smaller engine, or the military engine first, just so that we can then start designing the survey vessel, and then we'll add that one to the queue, so it will be researched. What I could probably do, well, it's not really a survey or sensors and fire control person that's currently doing that, so I'm gonna let it be. I'm not gonna queue up anything for them. For the construction and production person or scientist, I could actually put in the mine production as well, because I think that will be useful. And speaking of production, oh, the construction factories are getting done rather quick. There's a little bit more for the fighters and ordnance stuff, but for the most part, yeah, things are getting done rather quickly. I think I'll add in another... well, add in 75 mines as well for 20% efficiency. What I'll do is I'll have 5 different projects going on. The research labs will be going on constantly. At some point, I think around maybe year 25 or so, I'll add another 20% for the research labs, just to get more of them out. But I want to make sure that we're not hindering too much of our economy by producing the research labs this early. I mean, well, you do need them, but at the same time, you can probably save a little bit. Ah, we got the research for the engine done. But let's actually go over here, and we'll go with non-theme name, and we'll do a new one. We'll go for... I'll actually go for Scout as the whole design. It doesn't really matter what you're using here, but it's easier for yourself to figure out what's going on. Then we'll rename this to Longboat. Right, and we still don't have a lot of things. We can get the engines here. And let's see, we're gonna have size 100. Or exact hull size is gonna be 100, so if we put in 2 of these engines, it could go 1000 kilometers per second. Put a 3rd one. I mean, essentially we'll have to put in jump engine for some future design, but right now it's not really required. I mean, this first design is probably just gonna do the surveying here. Not necessarily even the gravitational survey yet, because we haven't gotten that far in our research. We'll put 12 months deployment time. I could put in 24 months, but we probably won't be able to fit in enough fuel, especially since we don't have the fuel storages research other than the regular one, which is certainly something that we do need to research, but we can at least get the design started. Actually, it's not there. Let's make sure that the rank is the lowest that it needs to be. just so that we can get the best surveyors there if need be. Right, so how long does it take to research the other one? It's going to be done in October. I think we'll start going in 5-day increments now. And as I said, the start of this game will be a bit slow, but I'll try to make things go relatively quickly. But yeah, so far, I've had 4 test games so far about this, and each of them has, in a way, been failure, but each time I've learned different things. 4 test games for this playthrough, that is. I've played a bit before, but never gotten too far. Oh, we got the engine research now. Right, I think what we do want to get at this point is get started on the bigger fuel storage. So we'll give this one 2. And defensive systems. I mean, technically I could get the high density uranium armor. That would save a bit more in weight, but at the same time it's not necessarily required. So what I think... I'm actually going to increase the construction and production researcher just to get the construction rate up, because that will boost our economy essentially. We'll get things built quicker, which means that we can then get research labs built quicker and so forth. So I think it will be very useful in the long run. But we are unfortunately out of time for this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description, but other than that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.